guys, we're Coffee or Tea. I'm Scarlett.
And I'm Iris.
And we're friends since high school.
Yes, we've been friends since high school.
So 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Almost, if not. I don't know, but 8 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So we're Latinas,
Mm-hmm.
we're immigrants, we're first generation college students.
Mm-hmm.
We're a lot of firsts.
Mm-hmm.
Estamos dando de todo.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do this podcast to talk about different topics, what it was to be processing all of these different situations that we've gone through, as well as taboo topics that we have in our community. Like that's just the way that it is.
That's not really like talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we also want to share our struggles with you guys.
Yeah. And you share yours with us.
Yes.
So Iris, tell us a little bit about yourself.
About myself. So I'm Iris. I'm 22. I came to the U.S. when I was 8 in 2009, and I'm from Tonatico, Mexico. And you?
I am Scarlett. I am from Olancho, Honduras.
Mm-hmm.
I am 21, and I came to the U.S. in 2011 when I was 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Our topic today is immigration, so we'll be talking about our journey and what was it like to start to adapt to the U.S. and all of that. We also have a weekly drink.
Yes.
And our drink today is
Coffee.
Because the topic of the name of this podcast is coffee or tea.
Yeah.
So you get to choose which team you're on.
Yes, because she's she's a coffee person, and I'm a tea person.
Yes. So yeah, get your drink and let's get started. How was your life before the U.S., Iris?
My life before the U.S. It was really fun. I loved Mexico a lot. I grew up with my dad's side of the family, so with my grandma and my aunt, and we would travel a lot. They would always take us to visit new places, and we would go to Cuernavaca, Zihuatanejo, Ciudad de Mexico. I remember one time we went to Tasco, and I think there were like como unas grutas, and they're like kind of like caves. Yeah, pero son grutas, les llaman creo que grutas. And it was really fun. But overall, I had a lot of fun in Mexico. My childhood was amazing. And you?
For me, it was, we lived in the rural area of Olancho because of work, my parents' jobs. So my dad, he would go out in these like projects where they would build schools, or they would build like pozos for the community, or they would build, or they would go have like vaccine campaigns, so they would show up at people's houses and vaccinate them. And then my mom, she was a preschool teacher and kindergarten. So she was actually my kindergarten teacher. So weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I cannot imagine my mom being my teacher.
Yeah, it was weird. And that was our Monday through Friday life. And Saturday and Sunday we would go over to the city where we're originally from, and then there we would either visit my mom's side parents or my dad's side parents, and then we would also visit another aunt. So that's where we spend most of our time with them. But yeah, overall it was nice. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
How was the decision for you? Like, how did you know, or how were you told, like, you're gonna move across the country?
Yes. Well, my uncle told me. Yeah, he was the first one. So he was here with my dad, living with him. He had come here to the U.S. with my dad when they were both 18. Well, my dad was 18, and I think my uncle was a bit younger. And they came here together, but then he left. He went back to Mexico, and we met up with him, because he came to live with us. And he literally got to Mexico, and the next day he told us, you guys are going back to Mexico to go live with your parents. And me and my brother were just like looking at each other, and then we were telling him, like, you're playing around, like, you're not being serious. And he was like, no me crees, ¿verdad? And then we were like, no te creemos, like, stop joking around. And but it was true. And then my because we realized that my grandma would pull us out of school, and then we would go to Ciudad de Mexico to get like documents that we needed. Or my aunt she would like pull us out of the school to like get like injections or vaccines and stuff like that. I remember we got like our blood tested, or it was because we needed to know which type we were, and then we were like, what's going on? Like it was a lot, and so we knew something was up. And but like they officially told us, my aunt told me and my brother the day before we got here, before we were supposed to come here. So she told us like, oh yeah, you guys are gonna go to the US, live with your parents. And my grandma was telling me, you know, like it's time, you know, you guys are kind of old already. Not old, but you know, you're not like such a little kid when you're like 3 years old, you know, but you're 8, and like it's time for you to go live with your parents. You know, they want you guys back. And yeah, that was how they told us. So I didn't have a choice. What about you?
For us, we had been to the U.S. once before, and it was for a trip. So they told us that we were gonna come on another trip, because it had been a couple of years, and we had gone through some stuff like at home. One of our family members passed away, and it was like next door. So because it was like the nature of his death, like we had to remodel our house, and they were doing remodelations, moving stuff around. I remember they put a lot of like the gabinetes or in the rooms. So, but we didn't think it was because we were like packing up. Like we thought it was because of the remodelation. And we spent about a month, or I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks with my aunt while they were remodeling. So that's what we were being told. My sister didn't want to come, but I was excited. I was like, yes, let's do it. And you know, we came, and that was it. It was just a trip. It was just like a trip.
You were fooled.
Yes, handy trip, guys. How is like once you knew like, okay, like I'm gonna stay here for the long run, how was it?
Well, yeah. I got here, and then, you know, I saw my parents for the first time. It was, you know, emotional and happy. I was really happy. And then, but then like 2 weeks passed, and, you know, they weren't telling us you guys are gonna go back to Mexico or anything like that. And I would cry at night because I would miss my grandma, because, you know, I grew up with her, so I would miss her a lot. And I would ask for her, like, you know, because I missed her. I would ask for her at night, and then one night I cried my eyes out because I missed my grandma a lot. And then the next day they told me and my brother, like, they sat us down and they told us like, you guys are gonna stay here, live with us, you know, we want you guys here as a family, you know, we want to be a family, and this and that. So that's when I kind of started to change my mindset, like, okay, you know, I'm gonna stay here. And, you know, this is gonna be my life now.
Scary.
For
for me, it was we had started school right away, like 2-3 weeks after we had come, and I was like, this is bichoso.
Literally.
This is not a vacation.
It's been planned the whole time.
And we started school, and we were like, okay, like, what's going on? And then my mom was like, oh, it's just to finish up the school year faster, you know, like U.S. education is better, you know, like have a couple of months under your wing. Okay, all right. Summer came. It's like, okay, why are we still here? And then she was like, oh, you know, just spend your summer, you finish the school year, it's fine. Okay, that's fine. And then October came, and then we had started the new school year, and I was like, I know. I started to grow impatient, and I kept pressing my mom, like, what's going on? And she was planning a trip to go visit my grandpa. So I was like, how come you get to travel and I don't? And she was like, oh, you know, it's you already started the school year, like, so you don't fall behind. I was like, man, I don't know. But it finally hit when she got a call saying that my grandpa had passed away, and it was the day before she had planned her trip. So she was rushing to try to get there, and like she was not mentioning us going with her. So once she said like, oh yeah, like once I saw no movement for that, I was like, if I can't go back for my grandpa, then like why else would I go back?
Yeah,
like,
you're not going back.
Yeah, there's no other reason why they would take me back. So that's when it hit, and it was kind of sad because for at least for me, I don't know my sister, but I realized it, and like my parents were not there, so I couldn't even ask them questions or try to process it with them. It had to be like kind of by myself in my bubble, and it was a long like month.
Yeah.
It was a long month.
I can imagine.
Tough.
Yeah.
How was your process in adapting, and what was the moment when you knew you were fully adapted?
For me, it was hard to adapt because in the beginning, when we started school, like we started in third grade, in the middle of third grade, and the kids were like really mean to me and my brother. They were like assholes. And there was specifically this one guy that was just making my life miserable.
That was his one goal.
Literally, he was like, I feel like his mission was just to bother me and annoy me and bully me, like every day, nonstop. It was like his mission because he will never stop. And it was really bad. My dad had to go, talk to the teacher and the principal, and still nothing changed. So I feel like that kid, like, he had in him, like, okay, I'm gonna make it my mission or something, but it was really bad, So it was hard to transition. But then fourth grade and fifth grade we changed school, so it was better. And then I say that I got fully adapted by high school. So it took a couple years, but we made it.
Yeah, it's a long process. Yeah, for me it was also, I think like the moment that it hit was towards high school too. But I remember like once they told me like, oh yeah, we're gonna stay here, and the main reason that they gave us was education. And over there I was used to getting A's, and I was used to learning things quickly, so I wanted to get back to that rhythm, and not feeling like I was behind. So I asked my cousin, we had an encyclopedia, and I don't know who it was, but I estaba, like nobody touched it other than me when I was using it. And I asked him to teach me the alphabet, and it's funny now because my cousin was very bad at Spanish, and I was very bad at English, but we were there. We were there hustling, trying to figure out like how to say it, and I was like A, B, C, D, and sometimes like he would get mad at me for not knowing how to pronounce it, and I would get mad at him for being mad at me. I was like, sir. But it was like that was the beginning of it, and just reading a lot and just trying to like fail. I failed a lot. I failed like a bunch of tests, and I feel so terrible because I had never failed a test before. And I came here and I started failing everything. I know. It's so like unmotivating, like te quita las ganas. It's so bad.
And you feel stupid, but you know that you're not stupid. And you just don't know the language.
And that frustrates you more because it's like if this was in Spanish, I would be like
thriving.
But it was tough. But I think like the moment that I realized that I was like okay, was my junior year of high school. I went to school with where the gifted kids go, but I didn't take classes with them. I only had orchestra with them. And then when I was in high school, I would start having classes with them, but I didn't know, like we don't share each other's grades, right? So we don't know like where we are, but we had to take this like AP test. And I remember I was very nervous because I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. But I was like, okay, like I can do it. And I took the test and I passed it, and he posted it. He's the one that told us if we passed or not. And he posted the grades, the students, and what grades they had. He only posted the ones that had passed. And I was like, okay, and I saw my name among like the smartest people in school. And I was like, okay, like I passed the college level test with all my other peers that I look up to. I was like, okay, like I think I'm doing okay.
You made it.
Yes, that was my moment. But it's hard, it's a hard transition, and it's just super tough. Like for us, we didn't know until much later.
Like we didn't know we were in the same situation until senior year of high school, and it was because we were both struggling to find colleges. It was like a struggle. I remember, because we met in badminton.
Yes.
We were in badminton. So I remember us talking like literally during practice, like how's college search going, and then you were telling me like, oh, it's been hard, you know, for me to find a school that, you know, we can afford, you know, because same here, I was struggling. My dad was telling me, like, he told me a budget, and most of the schools that I had applied, you know, the budget was not budgeting, like, it was not given. So I was like, and I knew I wanted to, you know, leave home and like find my way in college, because I kind of, you know, felt like the need to kind of like, you know, leave the home a little bit. And I really wanted to like live on campus, so like I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but we need to find a place.
Yes,
yeah,
it's really hard. And,
it was a struggle, dude. Even the people, the staff at school were not even helping. Like I remember that.
And like you never know, like, can I tell them, can I not tell them, like how much should I trust this stranger?
No, and then I remember telling the high school like the staff member that was like in charge of like the people going to college or whatever, like the transition or whatever, and I told him like, oh, you know, I'm an immigrant and I'm undocumented, and he straight up told me like, oh, you should get a social security number, like. Thank you. I've never thought about that, literally. And I hate it. I got really upset because he literally told me that. He made an appointment with me like at 7 a.m. And I had class, and I did not have class until like 8 a.m., 8 something. So I literally got to school early just for that meeting to be like 10 minutes and for him to tell me stuff that I already knew.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? This old white man is not helping me. Like, I feel so devastated, but you know.
Yeah, and a lot of like Latinos too, like they just don't know. Like you could ask them like, oh, like how about you, like your parents, you know, like what was their story like, and they're like, I don't know.
Yeah, because they don't really talk about it. Like, I feel like we, or at least our parents, make it seem like it's not a bad thing, but it's like something you should never say, or like, you know, it's a big secret that you should just keep it between the family.
Yeah, and it makes you scared too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Because like, why can't I say anything? You know?
Like, is it bad? Like,
yeah.
Is it bad for me to be here?
But it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
No, it's part of our identity, and we should embrace it and, you know, talk about it because it's important.
Yeah, it is, you know, and it is what it is, you know, like we can't really like go back in time and
we can change it.
Yeah, change the whole freaking government to work in our
change
favor.
The laws, you know.
yeah, but it's a struggle. But you know, I think it really does help to talk about it. It helps you process it, and it helps you like be more okay with it and just have a better life, you know, because you're okay with living.
No, because like you have to accept it. I feel like you have to accept it, and if you're an immigrant, you know, it's part of your identity, and you're not gonna get rid of it. You're not gonna run away from it. So
yeah,
it's better.
No.
Yeah, so it's better to talk about it, and you know, you probably learn more about yourself once you accept it.
Yeah, and you know, if you're not an immigrant yourself, be an ally, be supportive. Don't be judgy, you know.
No.
Just because it worked out for you does not mean it works out for everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, always be kind and listen to people.
Yeah, so we want to know, you know, what your journey is like or was like.
Yeah, let us know. What do you relate to? All of that.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for listening.
Yes. We're coffee or tea.